Hey there everyone, this is Michael Dougal, the Nootropic Reviewer, sharing with you some of the side effects and precautions you should take around this very popular supplement 5-HTP. Now, I've been using 5-HTP for about 9 years, though on and off. It's not a nootropic supplement that I would take every single day, nor do I recommend you take it, but it does have some very good uses. And 5-HTP is actually a very interesting supplement because it's naturally occurring. This is actually an amino acid, and where it's going to be found in rich quantities is in foods like turkey, chicken, milk, also potatoes. Though you can't get the same effect from food as you can taking it in supplemental forms, and you're typically going to find it in capsules of 50 milligrams, even up to 200 milligrams per serving. And when I first started running my business, I used 5-HTP actually every single day, once in the morning, just to help me be a little bit more positive. But then I realized more or less that what 5-HTP was doing, it was kind of artificial in the sense of, like, I'm just putting a bandage over a problem. See, if I have a negative thought or something bad happens in the day, I have two choices. I could use a supplement like 5-HTP or another bad habit, or I could have the mental resilience and do something that is actually going to be healthy for my body, like meditate or journal or read something positive. But I'm barely using 5-HTP now. Maybe I'll use it once or twice a month just for fun because I don't feel anything negative from it, but there are many side effects that you should be aware of. And the first one being addiction potential. See, when you're relying on a supplement to actually boost your mood and boost your happiness, it's human nature that we're going to keep on using it day in and day out, even when we don't need to. And this then becomes problematic because when you're using a supplement to boost your serotonin levels, you also want to consider using a supplement to boost dopamine levels, something like l-tyrosine, which I've talked about in this video over here, because there's something to be said about if you're going to increase your serotonin, you should be increasing your dopamine too, or they should have some sort of balance. And although people may be addicted to 5-HTP and use it every single day, it's obviously a problem if they're experiencing withdrawals afterwards. Now, it's not been my experience that after consecutive daily use of 5-HTP that when you get off of it, you have withdrawals, though there are some anecdotes you can read about. This one is found on Reddit, 5-HTP withdrawal symptoms, and somebody mentioned that the results of quitting are quite devastating, resulting in flu-like symptoms, extreme fatigue, lethargy, unable to sleep. That could be true because of the fact that a lot of people use 5-HTP to help them sleep. And of course, the other major problem is that people figure, okay, 5-HTP is a naturally occurring supplement, therefore more is better. See, more isn't better, and often you won't see the immediate consequence of using 5-HTP. Now, most commonly, the people that may be addicted to 5-HTP would be people that are using a supplement to help them boost their mood, and often people with low serotonin that figure that they want to try something just to help them be in a better mood so they can, of course, be productive. Because some of the common side effects of having low serotonin levels, it's thought to play a role in depression, anxiety, mania, and other health conditions. Though if you consume too much 5-HTP, then you're taking the risk of potentially having serotonin syndrome. And having serotonin syndrome, that is nothing but bad news. There are much more healthier ways to boosting your serotonin levels, things like sunlight exposure, exercise, eating a high fiber diet. Some of the side effects of serotonin syndrome include agitation or restlessness, abnormal eye movement, diarrhea, fast heartbeat and high blood pressure, hallucinations, increased body temperature, loss of coordination, and nausea and vomiting. Now, using 5-HTP occasionally may be okay, like if you're using it a couple times a week, perhaps you just want to boost your mood a little bit, or maybe you're experiencing something which is more stressful than typically and you want to take a supplement just to help you be more productive, then sure, nothing wrong with trying some 5-HTP. Or maybe you want to sleep a little bit earlier, you want to make sure that you're getting a good night's sleep, nothing wrong with trying some 5-HTP. Now, does it actually help with sleep? It's a negligible benefit. It's one of those supplements that you can't really tell it doesn't hurt by using. And the common serving size I think that should be appropriate for most people would be 100 milligrams. So try 50 milligrams first, see how you respond to it. If you don't notice anything from it, then perhaps you can consider bumping it up to 100 milligrams. But to jump right into 200 milligrams doesn't make any sense. I don't think there's any benefit of exceeding like 100 milligrams, or that's been my experience. It's not like you get to feel that benefit any longer, and it doesn't even hit you harder. Now, assuming you're not addicted to it, some side effects that you should look out for even the first few times that you take 5-HTP would be nausea, heartburn, gas, feelings of fullness, of course, because of the fact that it boosts serotonin levels and will often reduce carbohydrate cravings. Something I dislike about 5-HTP, and probably why I don't really use it much anymore, is the fact that it's very inconsistent, meaning sometimes you ingest 5-HTP, you have a pretty good experience. You can feel it working, you know what to expect, and then a couple of hours afterwards, you don't really feel the feeling anymore. So I like that, it's consistent. But sometimes it doesn't work at all, or it's a little bit delayed in the way that it'll hit me like 30 to 60 minutes after ingestion. And I've experimented with taking it during different times of the day and also with meal, without a meal. I think there's a little bit more of a benefit if you take it in a fasted state versus having it with a meal, but if you have it with a meal, that's okay as well. And I seem to notice 5-HTP working a lot more if I'm stressed out. So if something negative happens, especially then I can use some 5-HTP. I can feel it working because my mind suddenly becomes a bit more positive, a little bit more focused. So there's a lot of times 5-HTP, I use it and it doesn't work, and that's also been the case for a lot of the users of 5-HTP, especially from reading the comments on my YouTube channel. I noticed probably like 40% of people use 5-HTP and just don't see anything working from it. So perhaps if you're somebody that's a bit more sensitive to nootropics like myself, you might notice 5-HTP working, but especially those individuals that are taking a lot of stimulants or you're using something for ADHD, then there's a good chance you may not notice 5-HTP working, just simply because it's a pretty light and subtle supplement, meaning that the stimulants are most likely going to overpower the effects of 5-HTP. And so I think a lot of people are making the mistake that they're relying on 5-HTP when they just really don't need it. They just need to build some mental resilience, build some thick skin, and maybe they could instead consider acquiring some personal development and some good habits that they could implement instead. What are your thoughts on 5-HTP? I want to see in the comment section below. Do subscribe and drop a like if you got value out of this video, and if you'd like to chat with me one-on-one, you can message me directly on Patreon or you can send me a DM on Instagram. And be sure to visit our Discord server, which has a 24/7 chat room. We're answering questions in a time-sensitive fashion. I thank you for your interest in nootropics and look forward to seeing you next time.